Happy Sunday, guys. We are back for another edition of Sunday Cozies. I'm going to take you guys on a little decor tour today and just kind of show you some of the things that we are up to this weekend. I don't know about you guys, but getting out of the post-holiday funk is always difficult for us. Here's Gesture taking a Sunday nap. Now, I know he never looks really happy, but that's just kind of his resting old man face that he makes when he's tired. He's not a huge fan of the camera, and so this is him doing what he does best on Sundays, which is parking it right in front of the sunshine and the space heater and just soaking in all of the coziness around. I did want to show you guys, my daughters got me flowers this week for absolutely no reason at all. They've held up really well. I put them in a little jelly jar and I put them by the couch so I can see them all day while I'm working. I especially love the little, it's almost like a little moss piece that was stuck in there. And I just think that's really creative. So I had to show you guys this because it was so precious of them. But all of the Christmas stuff is now officially down, and I have to show you guys, I've already started putting out signs of spring. It just kind of helps me feel better after all of the Christmas stuff is done. These were some thrifted moss balls that I found along with a thrifted copper dish. I love it because it has the little handle on it. And then I took a small little inkwell that I put a plant start in. This plant cutting will sit in here until it gets some good roots, and then I can go ahead and replant it into a pot. But I'm cracking up because I just did all of this yesterday. I dusted and everything. And overnight, it's like a new film has settled on it of dust. I even think there was a little spider web. I'm like, how does this happen within 24 hours? But I'm just going to be realistic with you guys. This is what happens when you have 2 dogs and 3 kids. Dust is everywhere. I also propped up this gardening book. This was a thrifted find, as was the stand that it is on. So for just a couple bucks, I put this whole little area together. The desk, I believe another viewer said this is probably a telephone table, but the desk is even a thrifted find. I got it at the animal thrift store for about $32, I think. I added a few other books. It's kind of a weird size. You can't put a whole lot in there, but I did put some houseplant books. I got these at a church thrift sale. I believe they were about $1 each. I will browse through them and just kind of use them for decoration too. But I love how this whole little corner turned out. It's just a small space. It's nothing spectacular, and you can see in the background there, I also put up the little cross-stitch bird picture I bought about maybe a week ago. You might have seen it in a previous video. But I just love how the whole thing turned out. And when the sun hits that copper, isn't that just gorgeous? I mean, it's the little things we're getting excited about these days. But I love how this corner turned out. Even the kids complimented it, how cute it looks. And definitely super cozy. It fits the theme of the day. I also started working on a corner cabinet I have. That is a mallard that I inherited. His name is Juno. And he is named after a lake here, close to here in Michigan. It belonged to my uncle. So Juno is displayed on this shelf. I took all the Christmas down and I just kind of put up some natural things. Globes, rocks. There's a little sewing kit box I got at the bins. You might remember from the video. But I'm just kind of pulling in all those natural elements, the blues, the greens. And so far it looks really good. I had to give everything a good dusting. My sinuses are super irritated today, as you can imagine. But then I've just kind of started stacking things up, cleaning up corners a little bit. I use books for a lot. I mean, of course I read them. I also just use them to decorate and add some interest to little corners. You might recognize the Dean Martin record from last week's video. And then this weekend I also sorted through all my vintage wrapping paper, because isn't that what everyone does on the weekend? They sort through their vintage wrapping paper. I was thinking about parting with some of it, and before I could even get that far, I decided absolutely not, I need to keep it. So here's some of the vintage wrapping paper. This actually, you'd be surprised, it sells really well on eBay. It's kind of a pain to ship because of the size, so you have to find a really, really big envelope. So I talked myself out of it. I'm gonna really start using it actually. I've been using it on small pieces here and there. But you can just see there were so many precious patterns. This is one of my favorites. It has little pixies on it and mushroom houses. And then this one is some beautiful watering cans, perfect for spring. I imagine I could use a lot of these in decoupage projects. I'm going to try to find some ideas for using them, aside from just wrapping gifts with them. But they are so pretty. And in this stash, I also have a bunch of the old Meyercord decals. So these were really popular with housewives back in the 50s. You soak the decal in water and then it slides onto things like canisters and jars and plates, and you can really put them just about anywhere. As you can see, they were very inexpensive when they were first sold. The problem with these is some of them are so old that when you put them in the water and try to slide them off the paper, they disintegrate. I actually had that happen last night with some really cool birds that I had. So you have to kind of expect that that might happen. But a lot of them are still good to use, and so I actually did some activities with these last night. I had some little old trays. I think I bought them all for $1 or so at the Thrift. And as you can see, I just went ahead and used some of the geranium decals on them. I had originally tried to put birds on these, but they disintegrated. But the geraniums actually transferred really nice. And so those will be going into my vintage booth. I mentioned that to you guys in my last video that I've officially moved into a space here in town. There will be a video coming this week where I will give you guys a tour. While I was there moving in this week, my dad was actually unloading some stuff into his own booth, and he had these fabulous paint by number kitty pictures. Now, I brought these home. I was lucky enough to get the daughter discount, so I did not have to pay for them. But he had a really reasonable price on all of these. I think he had like $4 on the small ones and $6 on the large. But these are really popular amongst the mid-century modern crowd, especially these cats and this great, chartreuse background. But I'm just keeping these safe. My sister called dibs on them, and so I'm keeping them safe for her until she comes home at the end of the month and I can give them to her. But they were absolutely precious, and in fact, I took them and I had them by my booth while I was working on it, and so many people picked them up, and I had to tell them sorry, they'd already been sold. But I wanted to show you guys those and just tell you that my booth tour is coming this week. So I hope you guys will be checking back. I'm also going to be showing you guys a fantastic thrift this week. I did go back on sale day and I did snag one of these depression pieces. Do you guys want to guess which one it is? I only took one home, but it is one that I had been eyeing for a while. So that's to come this week. I also found on this trip a wonderful RS Prussia little kind of tea set that came home with me for just $4.99. So there are some sneak peeks for you on what is to come. I hope you guys are having the most cozy Sunday. It's such a great day just to play around with things that you have found during the week and take some time for yourself to enjoy the things around you. As always, like and subscribe. I will see you guys soon this week. Happy thrifting!